Well, in 2007, an initiative was launched that encouraged people to take part in the world's largest voluntary mass participation environmental initiative. And 6 years on, Earth Hour has been adopted worldwide. And this morning we talked to the CEO of WWF SA, Morne du Plessis, about what this momentous event is all about and how you and I can get involved to protect the planet. Good morning, Morne. How are you?
Morning. I'm well.
Very, very awesome. We've been talking about Earth Hour throughout the morning, but for those that have maybe not heard about Earth Hour, can you maybe tell us what it's about?
Yeah. So Earth Hour is a massive global event at the moment that celebrates every year in an event where you have 1 hour that's designated during which people switch their lights off. And this is purely a symbolic act to actually switch people's mindsets over to living sustainably so that every hour beyond that hour becomes an Earth Hour, as it were. Last year, over 100 million people in India alone participated. So hundreds of millions of people are likely to participate tomorrow evening. And we would hope in South Africa that we notch up well over the 2 million that we did last year. Wonderful stuff.
So how did it actually come about? When was the need really realized for such an initiative? And also, how much energy are we currently using to, make an initiative like Earth Hour a necessity?
I think we've got to understand that at the moment, humanity is consuming the resources equivalent to 1.5 planets.
Wow.
We've only got one. And basically, most of that 1.5 planets is required to absorb, to store the carbon that we put in the atmosphere. Yeah. So that brings us to South African electricity, which is largely generated through burning coal. And therefore, if we use electricity, we are having an impact on the environment. So to be energy efficient in how we live doesn't only save ourselves money, but it also treads lightly on the planet.
And it all comes down to becoming conscious and aware of what's happening around us. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, from 8:30 to 9:30 tomorrow, what am I going to do? You have launched a Facebook application that is basically things to do in the dark. Tell us more about that.
Exactly. So if you go to the WWF website and you hit the Earth Hour or the things to do in the dark little banner, then it'll take you into giving you examples of how many restaurant chains across South Africa, how many other events are launching themselves. So this is not a WWF event. It's actually gone viral, and people are invited to hold their own candlelit dinners, go and visit the zoo in Johannesburg, walk in the zoo in the dark, visit some of our national parks where they have storytelling around the fire. So there are numerous, there are several thousand events across South Africa that are happening, and the Facebook app allows us to share some of those activities with each other.
Wonderful stuff. Well, I know that you have prepared a little animation for us to show us what we can actually do in the dark. So let's take a look.
There's a lot to do in the dark. Teach your dog a new trick, learn to fetch a glow stick. Lot to do in the dark. Gaze at the stars, try your best to find Mars. There's a lot to do in the dark. Flashlight on your face, have an Earth Hour race. Lot to do in the dark. There's a lot to do in the dark.
Wow, that's very, very cute. Definitely great tips on what we can be doing in the dark. But also, Morne, what happens once we turn the lights back on at 9:30? Clearly, it's not something that we should, stop doing. We should continue in our efforts to protect the planet, right?
Exactly. So that is the symbolic act. What we then do beyond there is to commit ourselves to, for example, take small steps in our daily lives. Put energy-saving bulbs in your home, solar water geysers, the usual thing. But one of the very simple things that one doesn't think about, and perhaps you at Espresso don't think about, is don't use the lift. Because every time you use the lift, you use electricity.
That's true.
And you get nice and fit.
That's true, because we're way up on the 7th floor, so we'll have a lot of fit people here on Espresso.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Morne, for being here, and thank you so much for opening our minds to the fact that Earth Hour is something that we can all be taking part in. And thank you for being on Espresso. And you're going to take the stairs down, right?
I will.
I think he's actually going to do that. Well, Saturday, the 23rd of March, from 8:30 in the evening to 9:30 marks Earth Hour. For 60 minutes, people around the world are encouraged to switch off and switch over in a special hour of contemplation and celebration shared in darkness. So definitely take part in Earth Hour. We certainly will be doing the same thing. We'll be right back after the break.